Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away in big smile today because I'm building probably the model of the year this year at the moment. We've got pack 2 of the Agora Models release of Build the Orca from Jaws. Okay, I don't normally do this, but I've got a caveat today, and you're going to notice some of the parts that I'm actually putting on the flying bridge, which is what we created in the first pack here, are going to be different from your parts, and that's because I've already weathered them. Now, if you want to see how I weathered them, stay tuned to the end of the video. I did record that and show you exactly what I did, and I will show you the techniques that I used to actually do that. So there's no difference between the parts. I've just weathered them already rather than do them after this video and have two separate videos. But today we are going to be adding more details to the flying bridge. What else are we doing? We've also got the transom as well, which looks absolutely amazing, but I'm hiding that from you. I don't want you to see that. Tease you that till the end. Now, if you do want to get this for yourself, it's just come out from Agora Models. I have put a link in the video description, and we do have the QR code on the screen. But without further ado, let's get cracking. And to actually start this build today, I'm going to need my magnifying glasses because we're doing the very small details of putting on the dials and stuff which is on this sheet here. Now, this isn't like normal decal paper. This has got this lovely film over the top which you do not take off. Make sure you don't take that off. What we're going to do is we're just going to snip these off, and it has got a sticky backing, and we're going to be putting these into place. These are quite high quality stuff. Right. Now, if I just put that to one side, as you can see, everything now still comes in these trays here. And there is a part that I'm going to need straight away, which is one of the controls on the flying bridge here, which looks just like that. Now, I have zoomed up a little bit more because the first thing I'm going to need to do is cut out this. I'm not going to call it a decal because it's not really a decal. Just using my scalpel blade, that comes off really easy. Take the backing off. And when you take the backing off, just make sure you're only taking the white paper off, not the black section underneath. So it should look like that. This is going to be going onto here. Just like that. Perfect. So that's how that looks. Now this has got these hinge panels to go into. So we've got a hole either side here. We put one in this side and one in the other side. So that's holding perfectly. And then this is going to be going onto the top here. There's two holes for it to go in here. Just like that, and that probably needs to be glued in, so I will just put some glue just in the center there. I'm not caking this in glue. There we go, that's in place. All it is a case of then is all the rest of the dials that we've got in here, putting these into place. So probably best on the top camera, this one here. You can see these are going to be fun to get the backs off because they're so small. There we go, I've got that here. Get that into position. It's actually just going into here. I do tend to use cocktail sticks to help me here. To ensure that that fits in lovely and straight. The yellow one right at the top here is going to be going into this part here. What I just tend to do is drop this on the part and use my cocktail stick to help me. The first dial for the main controls is here, which is going to go into the position just here. Next one along, which is the black one here, is going to go into the top. The white one next to that will be going into the next place here. And And then finally the large one we've got here at the end. I can't stress this enough, when you take these out, make sure you're only removing that backing there, not the actual sticker from the front. Because if you do, you're going to have a bad time. Okay, this is going to be going into here. Making sure it's straight there. Perfect, and there we go, that's in as well. So now all the dials, as you can see, are on the control. And that is also all there is to do in that stage. So the next thing we're going to do are the Lifebuoys, which go on each side. Look at this. These look really good. But we need to have rope going around the inside of these. And this is what this packet's for, with the grey and the rope. So let's get this open carefully without breaking any of that rope. And all we're going to do is put this kind of like halfway, and I've got these stickers here. And the way we're going to do this is take a sticker, put this on here kind of like that. I don't really want the join of the sticker to be showing, so I've got that going underneath. And I want to do this on all of the central parts that you can see there. So let's do that all the way around. So as you can see, that's how that's looking. Now what I can do is just fold in the insides so we don't see that edge. Perfect. Grab one of the ropes, and I'm going to want to make sure that this is halfway between those sections there. And then when we're happy with where that is, I can fold this top section down. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. But what I'm going to do is I don't want it to be too neat. So what I'm going to do is have it kind of like this, but I want to pull some back a little bit. So it's giving that sort of effect. You see? That's what it looks like from behind. I'll do the one on this side. Perfect. And then all we've got to do is the ones down the bottom here. So when I put these ones in here, I'm going to get them in like that. That looks good. And there we go. That's how it looks. And we're going to do exactly the same with this one here. There we go. That's the second one done. So 2 are completed. Now these are going to be going onto the points around here. So I'm just going to put glue on these points and get these into place. That looks good. Let's do the other side. And there we go, that's that one on that side. Perfect. Now, move that to one side. We also have a horn here. So again, this is all metal, this one. Put some glue just on this tab. This is going to go into the slot that we can see just on the side here. There you go. Looking good. And then you will notice that we now need to create a box. And I've already sort of like got the box together here. But what I have done is I have painted a wood effect on the box. And I will show you how I did that at the end of the video. But once that's done, that's going to go into the holes on the flying bridge here. And it's going to need to be glued into place. So we'll just put some spots of glue just at the bottom here. And get this in. So as you can see, that's how that looks. So we're now going to be building a boat hook. So we've got these 2 parts here, and we've got some hooks to put in the end. So it doesn't matter which one we use at the moment, we're only going to be putting one end on at the moment, and those hooks look just like this. And I am going to be gluing this into place. So what I'm going to do, the actual hook on the end of this is metal. Put some glue on this, and then just put this down here. Now I'm probably going to weather this up as well. I haven't done that yet, but that goes on like that to make that hook. And then we've got this one here, which just looks like that at the moment. Okay, we're going to put that to one side. Now, the next parts I'm going to show you, I have already weathered up, and I'll show you later on how I've done that. Basically, I've weathered this, I've made this paler, and I've added these like white lines. If you watch Jaws, you'll see you've got this like bird poo sort of thing on here. I'm going to show you how I did that. Also with the jaws, I've just done a brownish wash in the jowls, there and there. So that's how they look. And this is just a case of putting this into position on here, like this. They just push in, and they will need to be glued in. So I'll just touch this with some glue, and that's in like that. So that's looking really good. Now we don't actually put this on the front of the flying bridge yet, but I'm going to put mine on just to show you kind of like how it's going to look. Just like that. And now you're actually going to love this. Now I'm going to do the transom, but I have already painted and weathered this. And again, I'll show you at the end how I've done it. But this is what the transom is looking like after I've weathered it. We're going to be putting the letters in, and the letters, once again, I have already put rust effect on these letters. So the O is going to go into here. And these letters are metal. And I'll give you an idea of how that rust effect looks. And we're going to continue that doing all the other letters here. So let's do the R. Again, some glue on here. Put this into place. Then the C. Notice I'm putting letters actually on the metal flat bit rather than the lugs. And then finally the A. And when that's in place, that's how it's looking. The last thing that we're going to be doing in this pack, you'll notice we do have a lot of stuff here that we're not using that we're going to be saving for next time. Is I'm going to be bringing up the bow section, and you can see we've got these cutouts here which are actually for these sort of textured effects bits of are these metal? I think they are metal. This is photo etch, and I'm going to take these off by just rocking them backwards and forwards. They come off lovely and clean there, and these are going to be going in the indents that you can see just here. So I'm going to be gluing these into place. So let's do one side. We're not going to put one in that half one yet. So there's only two of these that we're going to be putting into position. Make sure you also put it with the textured side facing upwards. Once we're happy with one side, we're going to do the other side. So this is the last one, just going in here. Excellent. And with that done, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. So we've done little parts of the bow there. Obviously, the transom is now done, looking like that. The flying bridge, I'm guessing, is pretty much done as well. Although we do have this part here to go on, and obviously we haven't attached this yet. But that's how that's looking. And then we do have some parts in the boxes that we're going to need to keep safe. So if I show you those, we've got these metal frame pieces here, this massively large section just here, and then in the other tray, as you can see, we've still got these parts here. Now we're not finished. There's one other thing, believe it or not, that I need to do, and that is on this transom section, we've got a drain. I don't know what this thing's called. Basically, it stops the water building up and it tips in, which looks like this. So I'm just going to put some glue on this. And this is going to go into the position just here. Now, I might put a little bit more weathering. I anticipated this being in, so I did weather a little bit down there. But I think I'm going to put a little bit of really white, really liquidy whitewash down here to make it look like that's dried a little bit there. But yeah, that's definitely all there is to do in that stage. And there we go. So once again, that's that done. And the flying bridge, which is looking really good as well. So all I've got left to show you now is the weathering. And well, let's get straight on that. Okay, the first thing I'm going to deal with is Will's Workshop pointed out that these navigation lights are having a little bit of bleed come through this side. It's obviously going to be worse on this side than the port side because the port side red's not going to shine through as much. But I'm going to show you how to get rid of that without having to put any backing on or anything like that, actually without taking it apart. Okay, I've got some Vallejo model colour black here, and I'm just going to be putting this on here. Let's get this loaded up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in the dark so I can make sure that this black, because I'm about to put some black over here, covers where I've got the light bleed. Now, I don't know how this is going to look when I'm turning the lights out. Don't know if you can see where that light bleed is, but I'm basically just colouring this black. Just hiding everything there. And that's pretty much gone straight away. Nice. And again, I don't know if you can see there, I'm going to do the same with the red. And I'm going to let that dry. What I've also done is there was a bit of a light leak from the back of these navigation lights. So I've just glued a bit more behind the back and clamping that in so that actually blocks that out. I can put that to one side. And I'm going to be bringing over the letters that we're going to be having in pack 2, which are going to go on the back of the Orca, which looks like this. Now, if you look at the still I put on the screen, these are far too clean. So I'm going to be weathering these down now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do to flatten these off is I'm going to be using a, what is this? This is a flat brown, looking like that. I am going to be really watering this down or thinning this out. So I've got some airbrush thinner here. I'm just going to be putting some of that in there. And a little bit of this. And what I'm trying to achieve here is to basically take off this whole bronzish looking stuff on the top. Because I've got another metallic paint which I'm going to be putting over the top of this. So just putting this on here. Now if you think how rust would form on these, it's going to be going up to down on the letters, not side to side. So it's going to look a lot more realistic if any strokes that you've got in this are going down. And there we go, we've dulled that right down. I need to let that dry now. And while I'm letting that dry, let's put that to one side. I'm going to bring across the transom. And again, this is immaculate red paint here, but it's more woody sort of red here. And for that, I'm going to actually use a dark colour first, which is a wood grain effect. And that's this one just here. Now, it is darker below this line, but that comes later on. This is just like the woody section that we're going to be doing. This time, I want a bigger brush. And again, only paint the way the grain is going here. You don't want to be going up and down. And as you can see, looking better already. Okay, when that's quite dried enough but still liquidy on top, now I can blot it with a tea towel to get off any excess, as you can see, paint. So now that's looking just like that. Okay, we're going to put our next colour over the top of this now. So I'm using a flat brown. And again, I am just putting this into random areas. And once again, I'm going to let that dry for about 5 minutes before I blot it again. Before that dries, the last thing I'm doing is using a really watered down version of the yellow ochre. And just putting this in some random places around here. on top of the already wet paint, you will notice. And then once again, I'm going to blot that with my tea towel. As you can see, it gives a really good effect. So, I'm going to let that dry. Now, if you find you've gone too heavy on the browns on this and you want to bring back that metal, you can just get a bronze paint and do a dry brush over the top. I don't think I'm going to need to do that, but I'm going to see how this dries. I am going to be using some brown dry brushing techniques though, because these jaws here. Now, the colours are okay, but there is some sort of dry brushing going on down here and here, which I'm going to need to do. Now, I've still got some brown left over from what I've just been doing. So I am going to put this in the jowl area here. And do the same on the other side. Went a bit heavy then on that, so just take that off. That's cool. And it's just basically just taking the shine off of this a little bit. I want it darker in these bits here. If you watch the film, these are really dark in there. I don't want to make it that dark. But there you go. That was a quick fix on just those. There. Oops. Okay, another item that we're going to be working through is this storage box here. Now, this storage box is going to be going on the flying bridge. But, again, I think I want this colour to be a bit more grain affected. So I do like that base colour there. But I am going to use this wood grain effect again with a big brush. And again, keeping it going in one direction. And then do the same with all the sides. Again, you're going to lose the effect if your paintbrush wobbles. It needs to be perfectly in this sort of direction here. As you can see, that's how that's looking. Again, I need to let that dry. Okay, returning back to this now, I need some really thin white. And you saw me do this in my first weathering video. This really does need to be thinned. And what I'm talking about, if I can give you an idea, is this sort of texture here. Sort of like a milk. Just going to check that, because I'm going to be putting this over the top here to dull down that colour now that I put on. Just gives it that saltwater bleached effect, you see. I don't want it looking too perfect. Like that. Right, while that's drying, we're going to bring back the flying bridge now, where we had this black paint. Now, if you remember, in the last video, I told you the best paint to use for this, which is a pretty much exact match, is the Tamiya XF76. I'm going to show you how that goes on. And this is going to need a couple of coats on top of the black that I put in here. But as you can see, probably on the top camera, it's matching really well with the paint that's already there. And the darkness just looks like weathering. But it will need a couple of coats. But this is a great match for this. And while I'm waiting for that first coat to dry, I will try this out again to see if we can see any light bleed. And as you can see, nothing at all. Pretty cool. I do have a low light function on my phone, so as you can see, there's no bleed on this side. I'll turn this around, nothing on that side. We do need another coat of that paint. Let's check the green side. And once again, that's the green side there, but we look over here, nothing. But I will show you one more image of this, what it looks like when I put the second coat on. Once again, I'm blotting this, which gives that effect there. Okay, so that's pretty much all the weathering done for this pack that I'm going to do. You will notice that I have got the little 2 bits of bird poo or something behind the jaws there. Plus I've dulled that black circle down a bit. It's not complete either, but there you go. And obviously that's how that's turned out now. And there we go, that is pack 2 of the Agora Models Orca from Jaws completed. Absolutely brilliant, really happy with that. If you do want to get this for yourself, once again, I have put a link in the video description and you do have that QR code on the screen, but I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.